welcome back to this quarantine podcast. My name is Kendrick. I'm alongside my partner, Grant Jones.
What's up? What's up?
I like that point of just always asking questions, because even within my own development and my own success, a lot of things that I've gotten and a lot of the opportunities that I've gotten, what's the saying? A closed mouth never gets fed.
Mm-hmm.
So you do kind of have to go out on the ledge and put yourself out there to being vulnerable and being exposed in order to get to some of these opportunities. Because like I said, if nobody knows, if you don't speak up and you don't voice to a potential mentor, a potential employer, or whatever opportunity that may present itself, somebody else is going to get that. Just because we're all in this game, we're all trying, for the most part, we all want to be successful. And success, there's different definitions. People have different definitions of what success is to them. Some may think of success as buying a new home and buying a new car and getting married. Others may view success as developing to the point where they make it big time under the show lights, where you'll be one day, right? So it was speaking into existence. So there's that one other point that I wanted to hit on that you'd mentioned is we talked about the it factor. For you, and reflecting on your life from when you knew you had it till now, what would you say what is your biggest it factor? Or what is your it factor?
My it factor is being the entertainer. So it's one of those things where you become, it's hard to explain, but you can't be just one dimensional in the entertainment industry. There's always going to be someone that can dance just better, or they can dance like you, or they can dance even better than you. So you always got to bring something new to the table. At a young age, I grew up in church. So, I mean, we are always singing, dancing, going crazy, making people laugh, So it's one of those things where my it factor is being versatile and just having different dimensions come at you.
No, I agree. Why do you think so many people shy away from doing that inner work and really truly learning about who they are as individuals?
I've heard numerous reasons, man. There's so many, you could be called lazy. People be like, oh, I'm not good enough. They're just fearful. But I've heard a lot of things where people are just, it's actually so weird. People are afraid of their greatness, and it just terrifies them because they know what they can be. They know they have the potential, but the working aspect of it scares them to death. And I think it goes back to just knowing if you're going to be that successful, you have to make sacrifice. And a lot of people aren't willing to sacrifice, and that it comes a lot. You put your time and heart into it, and people don't want to have to deal with failure. They don't want to deal with the sacrifices. They don't want to deal with the rejection, everything, man. So it's one of those things where people know what to do, they just don't do it. I know not to eat that cheeseburger at McDonald's that costs $1.19. Yeah, holla at me, McDonald's, McValue meal. But it's one of those things where you're like, not to eat it, but do you have the willpower? Are you self-disciplined enough to say, no, don't even drive? It got to the point for me, I knew not to drive past McDonald's or Burger King, Will Smith, one of my great heroes, a guy I look up to, he always talks about self-worth and self-discipline. He's like, man, I can't let you eat that pizza, man. I know you want that pizza, but self-discipline makes the pressure you have to fit, So Will Smith always talks about self-discipline. And, he always says that fear is just an obstacle in your life. And God put the greatest things on the other side of fear. And you have to get over fear. So it's one of those things where people know what to do, but it takes them a while. And it's not like you can do it overnight. There's no such thing as a overnight success or a millionaire. All these successful people that you see, they take time in their craft and they read books, they practice, they talk to mentors, they ask questions. Let me say it again. They ask them questions, boy.
There's one of the things that I think about it. I think of numerous conversations that I've had with my cousin, and we've talked about business, and we were going over some pricing structure for the business that I have, and I had the pricing that I wanted to roll out, and she's like, "Wait a minute, no, no, we're gonna go with this pricing. Don't be afraid to make money." And I do think it is one of those things that you almost have to jump over when you level up. There's another barrier you have to jump over. So when it comes to income, think about how many people are in a career and sometimes afraid to ask for that raise
Hmm.
in fear of rejection. And for my case, when my cousin's like, "Hey, no, 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 don't be afraid to make money. You charge what you are worth and don't apologize for it."
Hmm.
And it was something that I had to wrap my head around, because when you love what you do, you would do it for free,
Yeah.
right? And when you have that passion for it, but at the end of the day, you still have to pay the bills. You got to put food on the table. So yes, I do agree with you in the sense that people know what to do, but I think a lot of people are afraid of success, or they're afraid to go after whatever that may be in fear of being rejected. And I think that is just part of success. I think that's part of developing oneself, is you have to go through a lot of trials and tribulations. You have to go through a lot of failure to get to where you're going. As you mentioned, there are no overnight successes. You look at, and one of my inspirations that I get, Nipsey Hussle, and you look at his journey of coming up through the game, and people can say, well, it was an overnight success. No, if you go back and look at his story and all the things that he did to get to where he was going, he had it all planned out, but it took him many, many years.
Hmm.
There's a picture you'll see online sometimes with the iceberg, and it'll say success, fulfillment, joy, and then under the water of that iceberg, it's fear, doubt, failure, um, sadness, depression, all these things. And that's the thing that people don't see, is what you're doing behind closed doors. And then when you come out and make it big, oh well, he was an overnight success, and that's what it looks like. And that's one thing with social media that, in a sense, I think has made our society believe that things can happen like that,
Hmm.
which maybe if the perfect opportunity, but still when you get into that opportunity, you have to had put into the work for that opportunity to work out for you or work out for that individual. So no, those are good thoughts, and good things for people to kind of listen to and grab some knowledge from there. With that being said, what's one thing that you could, if you could give somebody advice that was still going through the self work and self development to get to where they're going, what's one piece of advice that you would give them as they go through their journey?
Love. Well, I would say, like you said at the beginning of this video, it's not a race, it's a marathon. So time after time, the more books I read about people being successful, the key thing is that you can't give up. And it's one of those things where it shows, like, how bad do you want to be successful? If you want to be a movie star, are you taking acting classes? Are you talking to people that are where you want to be in life? What are you doing to prepare to be the greatest person of you? And I love what Denzel said one time. I can't remember where he was at, but he's talking to a bunch of students. And he said, when people ask you, are you acting? He said, never belittle what you're saying. He said, oh, I only do plays. Like, no, that's acting. Like, that is acting right there. Like, if you're on stage, like, acting, no matter what platform you're on, you could be acting for a school play. That's some type of work. That's some credibility, like, that you can give somebody. Like, don't ever belittle what you're doing at the time. Or if you just say, oh, I only do Broadway, I'm not really a movie star. Like, no, wherever you are in at life at this point right now, this is where you're supposed to be. So now, I think what people get confused on that quote is, wherever you're supposed to be in life, you're at that moment right now. People think that they're stuck in that moment. No, no, no. It's one of those things where you have to make sure that you are pushing yourself to get to the next level. So, I'll give you an example. It's, say you're playing Super Mario Brother on the NES, right? And you can't get past level 2, and you just keep on do 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 do. It's stuff you learn from level 1, that will bring you to the next level. World 2, you know, if you hold down the B button, you run faster. And when you run faster, when you're A, now you jump higher. But had you not failed and died so many times and tested out different things in level 1, you would have got to level 2. So it's one of those things where everything you learn, even from level 1, you still use even in level 33. So no matter what you're doing in life, whatever you're working towards, you have to take everything you learned and use it. So that's why people always think they're stuck, but they're just not using what they have learned over the years. They just have to learn how to bring it up in their situation and make the best of it.
So Grant, awesome conversation. How can people find you or check out some of the work that you are doing?
Yes, you can find me on almost every social media platform. You can go on Facebook. I'm on Grant Jones. And then if you go on Instagram and YouTube, it's GJ Comedy. GJ and then comedy. But I might be changing the title of that because, like we said, you can't be one dimensional. So it might be GJ Entertainment soon. But for now, it's just GJ Comedy. We all trying to figure this out, man. My life is a joke, and we all trying to figure it out right now. But yeah, you can find me on there. Grant Jones on Facebook, and then GJ Comedy for Instagram and YouTube.
Awesome, awesome. All right, Grant. Well, thank you. And for most of you, if you are looking to find me, you can find me on. I'm pretty active on Instagram, KOATS and the letter C. Again, that's KOATS, the letter C. Grant, thank you again.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate
Dropping your gems, and I hope many of the viewers were able to gain some of the knowledge that you dropped on them. But I hope that this episode gives them a sense of direction. We've all been, in one time or another in our lives, been, for lack of better words, lost, or we felt like we were complete failures. That's not always the case. Sometimes we have to pick one small goal and consistently do that over the stretch of 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks, and then slowly start piecing things together. So the importance of doing the self-work and the importance of setting short and long-term goals. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of this. If you did, go ahead and share it out with a friend or somebody that you think can value from this message. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon.
Peace.